Welcome to the third episode of Booked, the series where I book storylines or angles from the past or ones that might be coming up in the future. In this one, it's all about the game and how I end it. Triple H is without a doubt one of the all-time greats. He's had such an amazing career, but he hasn't ended it properly. So, I'm gonna have some fun, see what I can come up with, and cap off his career the best I can. Before we get started, I just want to reiterate that these are just my opinions and how I would go about things. Nothing too serious. So grab some food, maybe a drink or two, and let's set the scene. It's February 2023. WrestleMania 39 is on the horizon, and we get to a segment on Raw where AJ Styles has requested some time to speak. There's a chair in the center of the ring with a spotlight shining directly at AJ. He talks about his career. He talks about how it's been 7 years since he made his WWE debut, and he's got to face some of the best this company has to offer. Guys like Cena, Orton, and Lesnar, among others. But there are very few names left that he still wants to face before he hangs them up for good. And he brings up the name of Triple H. He says HBK would have been cool, but we all know who would have won that one. He says he wants to test himself, and he calls out Triple H. He says that if Triple H is still game, he'll accept his challenge for WrestleMania 39. The way AJ calls him out is very respectful and in a competitive way. AJ leaves the arena, and over the coming weeks, it's just a continued try at luring Triple H back to the WWE. Slowly, the respectful ask of a match turns to a disrespectful demand, and by the third week of calling him out, AJ says that yeah, Triple H is one of the all-time greats, but he's also a huge failure. A failure because his NXT couldn't beat the other guys, couldn't beat AEW. A failure because his father-in-law stripped away his vision of what he was crafting this company out to be. That's why he doesn't show his face anymore. He married into the family, but little does he know that Nick Khan has a better chance of taking over the company than he does. He then says, "Hold on," and he marches to Gorilla with a microphone, and there is Vince McMahon sitting overseeing Raw. And then he goes up to Vince and he says, "Go ahead, tell the entire world just how much of a failure your son-in-law truly is." Vince doesn't say anything, but AJ says that he needs a response or he'll continue to go after what Triple H loves. The next week, not getting a response, AJ Styles goes full break down the fourth wall mode. He talks about Triple H burying people, him sleeping his way to the top, talks about various backstage stories, and he says that Triple H used his backstage influence to get to the top. But at this stage, he knows that he just can't hang with AJ. That's why he's been ducking him. He says if this was 15 or 20 years ago, you would have kept guys like me down. But you know that you could never hang. The following day, AJ Styles makes a trip to the WWE Performance Center. And guess who's teaching a class? It's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He scores up to him and he pins old Shawn Michaels to a wall, clutching up on his throat. He tells him to deliver the message to Triple H or this won't be the last he sees of him. And then security and superstars come to break the two up. So it's announced that Triple H will be making his long-awaited return to the WWE the next week. So he comes out and he talks about how AJ is playing a game, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And he tells AJ that it's just not possible anymore. That yes, he is worn down and there's a lot of self-doubt in Triple H. And Triple H's promo is interrupted by Randy Orton. Randy gets on the mic, tells everyone how great Triple H is, and then he says to him, "Do you remember when real men ran this industry? Do you remember what you would have done to AJ 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Where is that man? Where is he, Hunter?" He's yelling right in his face, "Where is he?" Out comes AJ Styles and he tells Randy Orton that that man is dead. Triple H is a shell of what he once was. Just as AJ enters the ring, Randy Orton catches him with an RKO, and then Orton feeds AJ over to Triple H and he forces him to hit a pedigree. Triple H hits it, and then Orton asks, "How did that feel? Did it feel good?" He's trying to bring the best out of Triple H, and Orton tells Triple H to accept. Accept the match at WrestleMania, you still have it in you. So Triple H says he accepts, and him and Orton walk off to the back. Orton tells Triple H in the backstage area to go handle your business and I'll handle mine. The two hug and Orton says to Triple H that it's great to see you again. The next night after Raw, it's an episode of NXT and the first person out is AJ Styles. He comes out laughing and he's like, "Wow, Look at this place. The paint splatters, the little arena. This is hilarious. He says it's story time with Uncle AJ and he runs down the history of NXT. Everything from its early days, the glory days, and the super indie. But what came of it? Nothing. He said that these were all Triple H's guys and they were supposed to move WWE forward. And what happened? Nothing. Just mocking Triple H's hard work. The same old lines, but he just keeps bringing them up. Keep in mind that there's a force of nature that's made his debut on Raw and he's tearing through everyone. That man is Braun Breaker, who will become important as this story progresses. It's the final Raw before WrestleMania 39, a contract signing between AJ Styles and Triple H, and they tell each other that they will kill one another. Triple H is defending his family, but there's still that little bit of hesitation within him. He knows that maybe he shouldn't be doing this right now. Both men signed the contract and we're on. The Raw before Mania has a pull-apart brawl between AJ Styles and Triple H. The entire locker room empties out and it's similar to the one with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar in 2015. And now, it's time for the match. We get to WrestleMania 39 and the opening match is AJ Styles versus Triple H. Triple H makes his entrance all godlike how he normally does, spitting out water, and there's a special group of people sitting in the front row. Triple H's daughters, Stephanie McMahon, and Shawn Michaels. This match starts and it's nothing too special. Triple H looks like he's in good shape, but still a few steps behind AJ. The story of the match is simply how AJ is so much quicker than Triple H, and Triple H just can't find that next gear. Until AJ has him measured for a phenomenal forearm. He pulls down his elbow pad, and then he stops. He slowly looks behind him where all of Triple H's special guests are seated, and he gets off the apron. He goes under the ring, grabs a water, and he mocks Triple H's iconic water spit. But when he spits directly at Shawn Michaels. Grabs old Shawn Michaels, who looks helpless, and tosses him over the barricade into the ring area. Triple H is in the ring, catching wind of what's happened, and he is set off. He shoves the ref out of the way, and like they always do, the ref is out for a long period of time. These two are brawling on the outside. Triple H pedigrees AJ Styles into the announce table, and now he's in control until the two make their way back into the ring. The ref is still out because we all know WWE refs are paper. AJ Styles goes under the ring and he grabs a sledgehammer and he slides it into the ring. Then he goes to the McMahon family one more time. And now AJ has Triple H measured for a phenomenal forearm. This time he says it's over. He goes for it, and just as he's about to connect, Triple H catches him with a sledgehammer right to the midsection. He goes for a pedigree. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's it. Triple H is in the ring triumphant, and by the looks of it, this is it. He's bowing down to the crowd. He goes to hug Steph and his family, and he and Shawn Michaels pose at the top of the Mania ramp for what appears to be the final time. We then get a backstage camera shot of all the superstars lined up clapping for Triple H. Caleb Braxton goes to interview Triple H, and in a very emotional way, he says that's it. What a great way to go out. What a fun match it was. He intends on retiring from in-ring competition officially tomorrow on Monday Night Raw. So it's the Raw after WrestleMania, the crowd is going crazy, and we open up the show with a graphic that says celebrating the game. Throughout the show, there's video tributes from some of the best in the business. They get The Rock, they get Foley, Cena, Batista, and HBK, all talking about the legacy of Triple H. How Triple H was an unimaginable force, how Triple H helped define their careers. And then we get to the end of the night. Balloons are set up in the ring, the red carpet is out, and it's time for the game to officially say goodbye. Triple H comes out with Stephanie McMahon with him. He runs down his career, makes thank yous to some of his best friends in the industry, and then he talks about his girls sitting in the front row. He talks about how he's matured as a man, and he thanks the fans for supporting him through the good and the bad. As Triple H finishes, the top of the stage floods with superstars giving their appreciation. It just lines up with everyone clapping. Some people are even in tears. But the crowd floods to the back. But out of it emerges Randy Orton, who makes his way down to the ring. Orton gets in the ring and he shares a hug with Triple H. And Randy Orton is the most emotional we've ever seen him. He talks about how much this man did for his career, and it's a very emotional speech from Randy Orton. But then it takes a very sharp turn. He talks about how he was held back in Evolution, how he's been reflecting back at his career, and Triple H was always a hypocrite, using his backstage influence to hold others down, marrying into the family, and achieving his success through nepotism. He circles back to AJ's point of NXT failing and his vision being tarnished. He then says, "It's funny, sometimes the things that are so dear to us, so important, sometimes lead to our own demise." And then Triple H is surrounded by Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and Grayson Waller, the new school of NXT 2.0. They then beat down Triple H as Stephanie is being held back with both arms tied behind her by Randy Orton. He tells them to go outside and grab a chair. He then signals for Braun to come grab Stephanie. Randy Orton tells one of the guys to hold a chair in front of Hunter's head. He winds up for a punt kick into the chair, into the head of Triple H, and it connects. The Raw after Mania goes off the air with Stephanie checking on her husband, refs, EMTs, and Vince McMahon surrounding Triple H's prone body. It's all over social media. It's the #1 story, how Randy Orton ruined the retirement, how Randy Orton disrespected the man who had so much faith in him. The following week, Randy Orton goes back to complete bald-shaven Orton. No beard, no hair, and he introduces us to his brand new group, who he believes is the future of the WWE. He tells everyone that he has evolved. The irony in this group is that everyone is from the new NXT. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and Grayson Waller. See, I mentioned Braun Breaker earlier, and at this point, he made his debut in mid-2022. He's been running through opponents. His gimmick is kind of similar to Braun Strowman, where he just tears shit down and everyone loves it, so he's gotten super over with the fans. But this gives him something to really sink his teeth into. So Randy Orton makes his intentions clear. They're all here for gold, and WWE is put on notice. Over the coming months, this group goes on a tear. Randy Orton is the most sadistic we've ever seen him, and by summer of 2023, this group has gold. Melo and Waller are the tag champs, Braun is the IC champ, and Randy Orton becomes a 15-time world champion. During this reign, most of Orton's title defenses come against wrestlers who you could refer to as predominantly Triple H guys. People like Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor. But there's one little problem. At every turn, Braun Breaker is sent to do Orton's dirty work, and this is slowly building inside of him. Each week, Braun is more cautious of aligning himself with Orton, and once other superstars come up to him, he becomes aware of the game that Orton is playing. And by Survivor Series of 2023, Breaker has turned on Orton. Breaker has lost the Intercontinental title, but Melo and Waller still have the tag titles, and Orton is still the WWE champion. Orton is out to make Breaker's life hell, and he's just a super over babyface. So Breaker leaves the group, but Waller and Hayes are still good with Randy Orton. These guys don't run into any issues, but with his power and strength, Breaker overcomes Orton and he becomes the WWE champion. A rematch follows at Royal Rumble 2024. Breaker again takes the win without any help. He fends everyone off. He's just an unstoppable force. Very similar to how Brock Lesnar was in 2002. Randy Orton is left in the ring and this dude is losing his shit. He's throwing a fit, but out of the crowd jumps a man in a balaclava, throws Orton in the ring and hits him with a double underhook facebuster, and that can only mean one thing. Triple H is back and he's here for Randy Orton. Triple H unleashes a beatdown on Orton, and now it's his turn for revenge with a chair. He grabs a chair, places it into the ring, hits one more pedigree, this time right on top of the chair. He's looking down at Orton, and then he looks at the Mania sign for a brief second, so we know it's coming. The next night on Raw, Triple H opens up the show and he asks Randy Orton, "Is this the person you wanted? The ass-kicking machine?" He tells Orton to come out and explain his actions from last year. Orton comes down to the ring, but decides to stay at the top of the ramp. He talks with a slow cadence in his voice, and he says that he wanted to be the one to put an end to Triple H's career, not AJ Styles. But he didn't think that Triple H would make it back after what happened. Triple H lays out a challenge, him versus Orton at WrestleMania 40. But Orton denies it. He tells Triple H that he's not gonna wrestle him, he just doesn't need to. But what he will do is continue to attack the things and the people that he loves until he gets exactly what he wants. The following week, Monday Night Raw opens with Randy Orton dressed in a suit and he's outside of WWE headquarters. This is a pre-recorded segment. He walks in and he makes his way up to Triple H's office, mocks him for past failures just like AJ, and then he stumbles across a meeting taking place, and at the very front of that meeting table is Stephanie McMahon. The other employees scurry out of the meeting and the camera tightly goes to a shot of Randy Orton and Stephanie McMahon. Randy grabs an office chair, pulls it up beside her, and he slowly gets closer to her face. He tells her, "Do you remember what happened to you in 2009? He asks her if her daughters care about their father. Do they want their father for a longer period of time? He tells her that Triple H isn't the game anymore. Stephanie gets up out of her chair face to face with Orton, and Orton puts his hands on Stephanie. And there's some tension here. Is he about to take out Stephanie? Just then, the camera zooms out, and right behind Orton is Triple H. And they just have a good old brawl through WWE headquarters. Just a classic sports entertainment segment where Triple H literally beats up Orton so bad that he chases him out of the building onto the street. The following week on Raw, Triple H and Stephanie are seen entering the arena, and Triple H heads to the ring and he leaves Stephanie backstage. He says, "Alright Orton, name your price, we all know where this is headed. We know the game you're playing," and then Orton appears from a live feed backstage, and he's just got a smile on his face. He quickly goes into the locker room where Steph has been left behind, and he grabs her, positions her towards the camera, and he tells Triple H, "Do not move unless you want something bad to happen to her. You will do exactly what I say. Next week, you will meet me in that ring and I have a proposition for you. There are a few conditions you must go by and we're on at WrestleMania." Triple H, in a rage with his face going completely red, accepts. And then Orton knocks down the cameraman, and the next sight we see is Stephanie laid out on the floor. We don't see any intergender violence or anything gross happen, but the video suggests that Orton attacks Stephanie. Triple H rushes to the back and he's pissed. Just before the end of the night, Triple H hides out backstage as Orton is about to get in his car, and the two have a pull-apart brawl. Triple H pedigrees Orton onto the car, and that's twice that Triple H has gotten the best out of Randy Orton. Triple H yells to Orton, "This is what you wanted. The game is back." The character shift is that this time last year when he was fighting AJ, he was completely unsure of himself, whereas now he's back to the ass-kicking machine. It's a complete 180 from last year. He's found himself and he's going to be what he's always been the best at. The following week on Monday Night Raw, Randy Orton is seen coming out of Vince McMahon's office. A reporter catches up to him and he tells everyone that the match is on. Triple H told Vince to give me whatever I want, so I put some conditions in play, and as long as Triple H follows them, we're on. The conditions he's going to reveal at the end of the night. So we get to the end of the night and Randy Orton cuts a very short and concise promo. Tells Triple H that he's a beat up old man, but he says that he wants to be the one to end his legacy. He wants to do it though with no restrictions, so the match between the two will be no holds barred. Triple H accepts. The second condition is that Triple H cannot touch Randy Orton until WrestleMania. Triple H accepts. Third condition, Triple H must put his career on the line. If Orton wins, no coming back here and there for a match, it's over. Triple H hesitates, looks around at the crowd, and steps right up to Orton, and he says, "You're on." Orton then laughs at Triple H's face, and he says there's one more condition. If you want me at WrestleMania, you must prove that your body can still hold up. Next week, I have something planned. Let's call it a sacrifice of sorts. You have to do what I tell you to do. You want to get revenge on me, you have to follow what I say. Triple H then accepts. So we get to the following week, and at the end of the show, Randy Orton is here to reveal what Triple H must do to get him at WrestleMania. He brings out Triple H and they have some words for each other, and then they get on with it. He introduces Shawn Michaels, Batista, Seth Rollins, Mick Foley, and Stephanie McMahon. He says, "Let's see if your body can still take some punishment." Goes to the outside and he grabs a chair, symbolic of how he got rid of Triple H in the first place. Triple H must take 5 chair shots to the back, and they're on at WrestleMania. The crowd is in a hush, and so are the people who have to deliver the chair shots. The arrangement has been made by Orton in Vince's office a few weeks ago, so you know that they have to go through with it. So Triple H stands ready to take the chair shots. If it means getting Orton at WrestleMania, then he's ready for it. First, it's Rollins. There's a moderate level of hesitation. He takes the chair shot to Triple H's back, and Triple H is okay. Next, it's Mick Foley, and that second one looks like it pains him a little bit more. Third, it's Batista, and before he takes his shot, he picks up Triple H from the ground and he asks him if he's okay. Batista shakes his head before delivering the chair shot. And now it's Shawn Michaels, who's very hesitant, but there's Randy Orton at the side with a mic yelling that you have to do it. Think about it, this is one of your best friends, a man you love, a man you care about. Don't be the reason your best friend loses an opportunity at meat. Shawn Michaels makes a disgusted face at Randy Orton and he hits Triple H with a chair shot. And now it's on to Stephanie McMahon, and she is crying. She can't bear the pain of her husband, but there's Randy Orton egging her on, just telling her, think about what I've made you go through. Think about what I've made your children go through, and think about what I've made your husband go through. It can all come to an end. Take that chair shot and your husband can kill me. The thing here is that Randy Orton is very tactical. He knows that by using his influence, by using what he's done in the past, he can cause Triple H even more pain. That's been his plan all along since the moment he told him to face AJ Styles in the first place. So Steph swings the chair on Triple H and she immediately just collapses on top of him, crying over top of her beaten down husband, and there's a camera shot where both Triple H and Stephanie are on their knees while Orton stands atop them, and Raw goes off the air. Now it's the final Raw before WrestleMania 40, and we're set to have one final face-to-face. Both men can say whatever they want. Triple H comes out and he talks about 2008, a storyline involving his best friend Shawn Michaels and a man he respects the hell out of, Ric Flair. He says that Orton thinks that he's putting out Old Yeller, but this dog has a ton of fight left. He insults Orton, takes credit for saving his career in 2002. He says that if Triple H didn't save him, he wouldn't have made it this far. Then he encourages Randy Orton to come out. Orton's music hits, but there's no one there. Instead, everyone's attention is diverted up to the Titantron where Randy Orton appears to be standing in front of a house. He moves and it slowly reveals the name Levesque on the mailbox. Randy Orton makes a disgusted smile into the camera and Triple H realizes it's Home Invasion 2.0. As always, because it's the WWE, some idiot has left the front door open. Orton walks into the hallway and one of the first rooms he sees, he enters. That room contains memorabilia from Triple H's career, world titles, pictures of his family, iconic jackets, and things that have been gifted to him. He slowly goes towards one picture in particular and he rips it down. That one has Triple H and Shawn Michaels from 2006. He takes the frame, slams it onto the ground, and it shatters. Next, he grabs a picture with Triple H and his family, takes the picture, gives it a big tight hug, smiles, and just as it looks like he's about to put it back, smashes it right to the ground. So we get a visual of two broken pictures on the ground, and the last thing Randy Orton comes across is a sledgehammer. He grabs it and he proceeds to destroy this room. The symbolism of Orton doing this is him ending Triple H's career and destroying everything he loves, everything that he has built, everything that he cares about. Once Orton is done, he leaves the house, gets into his car, and he takes the sledgehammer with him. And the Raw before Mania goes off the air. It's time for WrestleMania 40. It's WrestleMania 40 and we're about halfway through the show. The promo package starts off and it's a retrospective of Triple H's iconic career. And intertwined in that promo is how much Triple H was able to help Orton. But Orton decided to put that all away and make things personal. So out comes Orton and he brings the hammer that he took from Triple H's house. And then Triple H comes out in the most godlike way. On the screen is the ultimate career tribute. His evolution from Connecticut Blue Blood to current day Triple H. And then the bell rings and these two men immediately make their way to the outside. Triple H looks like he's in great shape and he drives Orton through the barricade, hits him with chair shots, getting even from before. but Orton takes control by hitting a low blow and an RKO onto the announce table. He then goes to grab the sledgehammer, puts it into the ring, and hits Triple H with it. The hammer is right next to Triple H now, and Orton is winding up for a punt kick. Just as he's about to connect, Triple H catches him with a sledgehammer shot to the head. Triple H makes the cover for the 1, the 2, but just as the ref is about to hit for 3, out come Carmelo and Waller, and they get into the ring and they beat down Triple H. Then we hear the DX theme music play, and out come Shawn Michaels and X-Pac. They get rid of the threat, and now it's Triple H and Randy Orton left on their own. Triple H goes out to get steel steps, picks up Orton, hits him with a pedigree on the steps, but somehow Randy Orton kicks out. Orton gets up, and then he hits Triple H with a low blow, and then he measures up for a punt. But Orton has his "I'm sorry, I love you" moment with Triple H, and as he measures up for the punt, he hesitates, shakes his head, and almost like he has to do it, Orton looks at Triple H's family in the front row, and he nods. He says "I'm sorry." He then follows suit with the punt. 1, 2, 3. That is it. Orton leaves the ring, and Triple H is all alone in the ring. He gets up, and the entire arena is clapping, chanting "Thank you, Hunter." His girls are in the front row crying. Stephanie is crying. He goes to hug his family in the front row, and he slowly makes his way up to the ramp. Hits this pose one final time before he kneels down in front of 80,000 people, and he kisses the ramp. And that is goodbye. That's it. Triple H officially retires, and he enters the Hall of Fame the following year. If he takes over WWE, he takes over WWE. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But he caps off his career in a very strong way. The final run brings some great entertainment value. It feels like an old school rivalry. Randy Orton is a fantastic heel. After this feud with Triple H, Orton continues to be one of the greatest heels out there. But this time he shifts his focus to working with Hayes and Waller as their group slowly splits up. In the process, new stars are introduced to the WWE, and the torch, in a way, is passed over to Orton, and the game is officially over.